It's going to happen. It's going to get bigger and it's going to start snowballing and we're going to see more and more of it. Will it take over? I don't know. And that's maybe the point that it does start changing is when we start seeing more and more companies go by and say, we're not one of these companies that pays out any buyer's thing. And we're still selling and people start seeing, oh, well, they're selling at a pretty good rate. It might start changing that concept of, well, why am I paying a buyer's commission when these people aren't and they're still selling their house at a great thing?
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt. That is Shawn, and welcome to our show, Shawn. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a change to the commission structure in the Bright MLS, which is a lot of the mid-eastern zone of the real estate world, including the DC area. We're also going to be getting into Barbiecore, whether this is going to be the hottest new trend in the real estate markets. And then we're going to get into in or out, whether Shawn is in or out on 3 properties across the United States, including one property in Georgetown for less than $100,000, and it's not a parking spot.
That's amazing.
You want to own a property in Georgetown for under $100,000? This is your
opportunity.
This is your opportunity, Shawn. Yeah. Let's start with an email from the Bright MLS. I'm just going to go through the email right now and read you the salient points of it.
We literally got this
cooperation,
today, right?
Yes.
Today.
So on August 9th, 2023, in about a couple weeks, Bright MLS will update our listing entry system to allow users to enter any amount in the listing cooperative compensation fields. Prior to this update, the cooperative compensation fields required entry of at least 1 cent. Starting August 9th, fields will allow any amount from 0 and up. So this is, of course, on the heels of NAR, DOJ, Department of Justice, the Morrill lawsuit, the other law, like the multi-billion-dollar commission lawsuits that are making their way through the federal court system. And, Bright MLS is doing their part to update their systems as things become more advanced in the courts. But, what struck me is things are happening in the courts, and things may or may not happen after a ruling, whenever that may be. And that's all in hypothetical land, but this is real life. This is actually happening now. And sellers and listing agents can now offer 0 to buyer's agents as a compensation option. That is, concrete. That is an option as of August 9th. So, Shawn, what are your thoughts on the listing cooperation field now allowing $0 paid to the buyer's agent? And how do you think that's going to affect, the buyer agent position as a whole, and then also, home buyers and first-time buyers?
All right, so now we can offer $0, and it had to happen because there was too much pressure from the DOJ and everything. This lawsuit, were we allowed to put as little as one?
You could do 1 cent.
So or 1%?
No, 1 cent.
Okay.
Literally 1 cent. So if you think someone was going to do 1 cent, do you think that person is now going to do $0?
Like what's it matter?
What's going to stop that person?
The change is not that big, right? We've been dealing with this for a long time. Now you can put a big fat 0 instead of 1 penny. So the change isn't that big. All right, now you can 0. All right, 1 cent is basically 0. So there's not much change there, but I guess in a lawsuit and not having to put any compensation, that is your answer.
But there's not much change, but there's a lot of change because now it's no compensation.
Right. So you can do it. So what are you crying about now? I think this isn't going to change things much because we're already used to this. We're already fortified our buyer's agreements, and as buyer's agents, if we are representing buyers, we have to have a buyer agreement signed prior to showing houses. That's the law. We are supposed to have something signed, whether it's for 1 day, it's for one property, or if it's for 3 or 4 or 5, 6 months. We have to have something signed so that we know who represents who. It's an agency relationship. And this should push people harder to put a percentage in the compensation portion so that you, or an amount at least above 1 cent or nothing in there, because what a lot of people used to do in the buyer agreement would say, we are paid what the MLS pays us, basically. Because if you look at that buyer compensation portion of our buyer agreement, it's pretty harsh language. Same thing with the listing agreement. Whenever you're looking at the listing agreement, it says you'll pay this amount in cash. You're going to pay this amount in cash, like on both agreements. So a buyer looks at that and says, wait a second, I have to pay this in cash? Like, are you crazy? I have to pay you X percent of the deal in cash if they don't pay it out. And that's really what it says, is the majority of the time in the MLS, that listing is paying out a certain percentage, and they can vary. And now it can be zero. So as agents, we have to say to our buyer clients, listen, I don't work for free. I have to put a percentage in here. This is the normal percentage of, maybe you come down a little bit on the percentage, say, I need to be at least paid this amount. If it goes higher, great for me. Whatever that amount is above that amount, I make. But if it's below this amount, now you're going to have to pay it. And they just need to be aware of that. I think it's being upfront and being honest with people and telling them, listen, this doesn't happen a lot, but it can. And I will tell you, if it is coming in below a certain percentage, that you may have to come up with something, or we have to negotiate something better in the contract.
Now, this is all changing. This July 20th. This changed on July 1st. I looked at this document on July 1st, and I was like, wait a second. This just got way more aggressive. So,
Yes.
Paragraph 8, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put up a photo of this. Paragraph 8B, payment. Buyer will pay compensation in the amount of either X percent of gross sales price or a flat rate to the broker if the buyer agrees into a contract to acquire any real property during the term of agreement and goes to settlement on that contract any time thereafter. That's pretty bold right there. It just says
very bold.
Buyer will pay compensation in the amount of X percent if the property goes to settlement. Now, okay, so the next sentence says, in most cases, seller pays broker fee. But in the event seller does not pay any or all of the amount due, buyer hereby agrees to pay any and all remaining broker fees due to the buyer's broker. Now, Shawn, at what point are we going to start going after the buyers if the commissions get too low? Because if I put in 2.5% and it's paying out 2%, I don't think I'm going to go to my buyer who's maybe buying a house for the first time and being like, hey, you signed a buyer broker agreement. You owe me $2,500 or else you're not going to be able to. No, I'm not going to do that. Now, if it's paying out $1, $2, sure. But realistically, how often have we seen commissions of $500, $1,000, $1,200? We haven't seen it very often. So at what point are we going to start to see the buyer agent commission drop down to such a drastically low level where we're going to start having these difficult conversations with the buyers?
Just being on what I've seen in the past, I don't think we're going to see a ton of it. Now, there's always brokerages that are going to push this, and we've seen the brokerages in the past try to push this, but they're usually just pushed aside. They'll push a $0 or $1 or whatever $10 commission, right? We've seen brokerages try to.
Are those for standard sales or just for short sales and foreclosures?
No, standard sales, like Rex, right? Rex was trying to push this, and they were trying to get part of and this is why that lawsuit basically exists, I believe, because Rex was one of those companies that was trying to say, well, we don't pay out a buyer commission, and our clients don't do that. Well, but I don't think it's going to be a huge problem. But what this does is it basically gives the groundwork for this to change, right? So now what we have to do as agents is fortify our agreement. And it's saying right there, buyer, you're going to pay this in cash. Well, we could easily just switch this whole thing and say, all right, this is now our buyer agreement. Buyer, you agree to pay this much in cash because the MLS does not pay buyer broker agreements anymore. It doesn't pay it anymore. So this is kind of framing the groundwork, I believe, for that, so that the transition may happen, that there are no longer buyer broker commissions, right? I mean, if you think about it, this is very strong language in that paragraph. And, we're now having to explain it in a different way. And they do little changes, little by little. And so this could be the beginning of the end of that.
Are we going to see a company like Rex come back? Maybe not Rex specifically, but another quote unquote tech oriented company with all the jargon, all the buzzwords that now would be allowed to participate in the MLS, because the MLS said, oh, you offer 0%. You're against the rules. Now, I mean, we're saying, oh, $0 to 0.01 cents is not a difference. Tell that to Jack Ryan, CEO of Rex, because that is a difference to him.
Yeah.
So are we going to see some of these other, tech, flat fee, low brokerages, low payout brokerages show up?
100%. It's going to happen. It's going to get bigger and it's going to start snowballing, and we're going to see more and more of it. Will it take over? I don't know. And that's maybe the point that it does start changing is when we start seeing more and more companies go by and say, we're not one of these companies that pays out any buyer's thing. And we're still selling, and people start seeing, oh, well, they're selling at a pretty good rate. It might start changing that concept of, well, why am I paying a buyer's commission when these people aren't, and they're still selling their house at a great thing? I'm just saying that I hope it doesn't go that way, but it has the ability to go that way pretty easily if things start progressing, right? And so the change isn't that big when you look at it at a dollar figure, because we don't see it much right now, but it gives the opportunity, and it is big in that concept that it can change the business 100%.
Have you ever had a buyer pay for your commission outside of what the seller was offering?
In 20 years, I've never had it happen.
Okay, well, that could be a possibility. And the companies like Rex and Purple Bricks, they're not successful, right? Like discount brokerages in America aren't successful. They start up and fail over and over again. But what they do is they do put downward pressure on commissions. So what happens is Rex, burns out in flames, and then all of a sudden the rules change and we blink, and commissions used to be, 3% as a normal, and now most commissions are 2.5%. Who knows 5-10 years from now if the commissions are going to be 2%, 1%,
0,
somewhere in the middle.
That's what I'm
because
saying.
of the changing rules.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's a slow progression, and that's kind of how the business works. It's a slow progression to change, and I think this is the beginning of it. I don't know where it goes from here. I don't think it's going to be a quick change. I don't think anybody's got to worry about anything right away as far as agents. But I think that this is your opportunity to be able to explain to buyers, this is how it works. And if it's paying out 0, then you're going to have to come out of pocket. And are you willing to do that for this house? And that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah, I saw some Instagram story, and I'm going to butcher the story, but it involved what happens when tech and VC money gets injected into businesses. Like, you take Uber Eats, right? You get all this tech money and VC money going in. Now all of a sudden it costs like $30 to have things delivered, and the restaurants are getting gashed left and right. And with Uber, all of a sudden, you get the discount rates, and then things pop up. All of a sudden it's $80 to catch an Uber, right? And then even with Spotify, you get like $9.99 for unlimited free, or not just unlimited songs. Well, now they pay the songwriters or the song composers like 0.0001 cents, and now the musicians can't make any money, and everyone gets squeezed out except for the venture capitalists that put in the money. It's kind of like this. Venture capital is putting all this money into all these crazy new real estate brokerages. They're making some money and then burning up in flames, and then the realtors are left with the diminished commissions, which I know the general public is probably happy about. But we see these ebbs and flows with the commissions, that when it's easy to sell a house, commissions go down. When it's hard to sell a house, commissions go back.
Yeah, and they fluctuate all the time. And then it goes back to service, just like you were saying. Like, do I want to wait 45 minutes to an hour for Uber Eats to deliver my cold meal? No, I'm not going to pay you that much money for that. I'll go drive myself to go get it. And that's where things start changing. It starts out as a cool idea, and then it goes so far that it destroys itself. And so people are like, I'm not doing that anymore. And that's probably going to be the same way as this. Now, there is a lot of pressure for them not to pay out a buyer commission, and, the DOJ to kind of get in here and say, all right, well, this is not fair anymore, and you have to do this. I don't know if it's going to have that much push that it goes that way, but you can see how it starts, and this is the way it starts.
Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. And if you're liking this video so far, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. On a lighter note, Shawn, let's go to an article from Realtor.com. Doll up your decor. Shawn's been looking forward to this topic. 10 Barbiecore home accessories experts can't get enough of. This upcoming weekend is Barbenheimer weekend. So Barbie and Oppenheimer, two, dare I say, epic films that are about to hit theaters. And so I thought it would be interesting if we went through a little bit of Barbiecore and see if this could be the hottest new trend among millennials. Who is Barbiecore for? Is Barbie for millennials, Gen X? Do Gen Z didn't play with Barbie, did they? They play with Barbie on their iPhone.
Gen Z.
X.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think Barbie's been big for generations.
You have a daughter who's in Barbie range. Does she have Barbie?
She doesn't anymore. She did at first when she was young. I mean, like, she's 8 now, and she's totally out of Barbie. She was in Barbie.
Was she in Barbie?
At 3-4 years old.
Are you going to take her to see the movie?
I think we're going to go. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I mean,
I'm interested in seeing the movie. Barbie was coming out this weekend?
I did know it was coming out. I didn't know it was this weekend, but I knew it was coming out. I've seen.
Well, I got bad news for you. If you didn't know it was coming out this weekend, you don't have tickets.
I'm not going because it's sold out.
I have tickets for a 10:30 a.m. show on Saturday because it's all sold out.
Matt Leighton,
sold out everywhere.
You're such a Barbie fan.
Apparently, we're getting our Barbiecore on. So, Shawn, what is Barbiecore?
Well, you know, the thing is, the previews for this look amazing. Like the sets and the hair and everything looks amazing. And I like. It gets me into Barbie, right?
By the way, I have no idea what it's going to be about, and I want to keep it that way. I know Barbie, and I know Ken, and I know that's about it.
I hope they keep it fun. You know, I hope they keep it fun and just entertaining, and, you know, don't go certain directions with it. But let's hear your thoughts. Go ahead.
So Barbiecore means channeling a confident attitude and exuding happiness into the world almost infectiously. So how can you invoke Barbiecore into your home, Shawn? 10 home accessories. Go through them quickly. You know, pink storage locker. We got an actual Barbiecore dream house. We're talking about like your house, not how can you put little Barbie mannequins everywhere. Pink vintage phone. We got cabana striped bedding. That's kind of cool. Pink lamp. Fun wall art. Polka dot wallpaper. Pink vase. Are you vase or vase kind of guy?
Vase.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Vase. You have a pink vase. Minimalist light pink nightstand and then a pink ombre rug.
Ooh,
so Shawn,
with the pink chairs.
In a couple months, are you going to start seeing houses when you're touring in North Arlington, McLean, Alexandria, with maybe a pink accent wall, maybe a pink side table, maybe a little more pink than you would have expected a couple months ago?
Yes, you are. Because why? People follow. They love to watch what the new trend is, and they're like, oh my gosh, I gotta have that. I just watched the movie, and this is the greatest thing ever. And I'm totally going, can I please get that pink rug? I need to have that pink rug. After they watch the movie, they're gonna go insane about this stuff. And you know, people want to make their houses look like, when they live in it, they want to look like their attitude, or, you know, what they feel. And I think a lot of people are going to feel this movie, and they're going to say, I like the color pink, and I'm going to make a pink room, or I'm going to have little pink accents in my gorgeously painted tan or gray room. I want these pink accents. I think it'll catch on a little bit. I'm a fan. Yeah, I'm looking at a couple of these things, and I'm like, you know, those pink chairs, pretty good. That side table, really nice.
Well, you wanted to refresh some things in your house, so are there going to be any pink things in the Battle household?
Not a chance.
Not a chance. Well, something that you may be interested in. I should have told you this like a month ago, but I saw some TikTok or whatever where it's like how to make money on the Barbie movie, and I was like, I don't know what direction they're heading in, but then they were like, oh, Barbie is owned by Mattel. Mattel owns that. Do you know, Shawn, in the past year, the Mattel stock is up 18%. In the past month alone, the stock is up 16%. So I don't get excited about buying a stock in January, selling it in February, but if you were the entrepreneurial day trader, flipper type of guy, go in on some Mattel stock and then sell it in about a month.
Well, I mean,
not financial advice.
It all depends on how good this movie is. Right?
It's got Gosling. It's not going to flop.
That's the real reason I'm going. I mean, Gosling's he's a king
with the hair.
Yeah, he's a good looking dude. And who's the chick? I don't know the chick. I have to see
Margot
her.
Robbie.
Yeah, I don't.
Wolf of Wall Street.
See, I stink at remembering names. I'm really not good. I'll remember a face. Gosling, I can because, I mean, come on, he's a god, right? I mean, but her, I can't think of. Do you have a picture of her? I want to see who she is. At some point, we'll get there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a little old school in that regard where I can't remember names. I'm not very good at it.
Okay, well, I'm in on Barbiecore. I think an accent wall, a wallpaper, a side table.
I think it's going to happen. I mean, the wallpaper looks pretty cool. A pink polka dotted one wall, accent wall, or in your bathroom. You want to do that kind of look. That stuff's big right now. The little accent walls, the little accent furniture, and the pink stuff that you're showing here looks pretty good. It's not cheesy. So
you're saying it looks good, but just for other people, not for you.
I could use it, and I wouldn't say not a chance. I would say that we could use it in a couple areas. If it's tastefully done and looks good, yeah, we could do it. I'm open.
Next time I see the wife, I'll drop a hint to her.
Matt, you're going to come over to my house and you're going to see 4 chairs with a pink end table. And you're going to be like, no way.
Then I'll wake up from my dream. All right, let's move on to in or out, whether Shawn Battle is in or out on 3 properties across the United States. Shawn, Georgetown, $50,000. This property can be yours. It is a wall. It is a wall in Georgetown. Have you seen this property before?
I have not. I saw that. Well, just when you sent it to me, I think it's a 24 square
22 square foot wall, which I guess means it's 21 feet long and 1 foot wide. So it's a wall in Georgetown for $50,000. Apparently, it is near collapsing, say the neighbors. There's a little bit of some maybe sketchy history, or maybe maybe shady history is the right thing to say. Basically, the abutting owner who owns the row home, the townhome right next to the wall, wanted to buy it, from the owner, and so the owner said the person wanted to buy it for the tax value or whatever for like $600, and the owner was had a big ego about it and got offended by the tax value and didn't want to take $600. And so is now listing it for $50,000. Apparently, you have to, it'll cost like $25,000 just to fix the wall, and then another couple $1,000s for the title company to roll it back into the house to insure it, because it's over a public parking lot, and if bricks start falling on cars or people, that would not be bueno. But it's a $50,000 wall in Georgetown. I don't know if you could go ahead and paint the Battle Group or advertising.
All right,
you ever work with the Georgetown, ANC and zoning in Georgetown? They're not going to let you get away with much. So, with that all being said, you can still be a property owner in Georgetown. Are you in or out on the $50,000 wall?
Matt, I was thinking, what can I do with this wall? Can I paint it? Can I have some fun with it? Maybe I can get some attention with it. Maybe it's a graffiti wall. We turned it into, hey, public graffiti wall. Let's have some stuff with it. But it's in Georgetown. They're going to have laws against that. But maybe I just say, hey, go have fun with my wall and see what happens. Maybe it becomes like the DC Cupcake, right? Maybe it becomes a spot that people want to see.
Yeah, Georgetown and graffiti don't belong in the same sentence.
You're correct.
By the way, they're paying out 2.5% to the buyers.
See, there you go.
Why wouldn't they pay out a cent?
Exactly.
They're selling a wall. Pay out a cent. Why don't you?
I would say, Matt, that this is a better investment, a much better investment. If I purchased this would be a much better investment than the first Twitter NFT. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so in that regard, I'm thinking, wow, this is probably a pretty good investment for $50,000. I would rather buy this than those old NFTs that have currently zero value, right? And people spent $26 million on these things. So, but I think that this will become just a problem and a headache, and I don't need to own in Georgetown that bad, so I will pass.
Well, the owner of the townhouse next door is basically saying it's extortion. I think the owner of the wall is one of these people that goes around and buys the foreclosed tax liens, so like the alleys where someone forgot to pay a bill one year, or like the random parcel of land that's unusable, and then wants to build a fence between things to tick people off. So I think that's a little bit of that going on.
It's amazing that these people exist in our society, that they extort people for different different ways. And that can go into this kind of person or the people that are like the cash buyer. It's just amazing that they can get away with this stuff and that people feel comfortable doing that. You know, I would feel like such a slime ball to have to make money off of somebody else's detriment.
So I'm also out on the wall, but what I would be in on are sometimes there's just random triangles of land for like $100,000 or $200,000. I'd be in on that if I could make like the world's most expensive garden. Like if I just had a plot of land on some strange corner in DC, could put down like an Adirondack chair and like some flowers. I think it'd be cool to like have a patch of grass.
Hey, you want to go to my garden
and pay you $200,000? Yeah. I was gonna say, wait, what?
Yeah. I don't know. Hey, you want to go to my garden? Like you're inviting me to sit in your garden.
Oh, right. I thought you were selling me part of your garden for $200,000.
No, I could do that too.
I was like, well, that is. Now that I've heard myself talk, I was like, that is a pretty ridiculous.
Or what if you just put a hot
tub
on it? Oh, you need electric.
Yeah,
you don't have any services.
Yeah,
forget that.
But every now and then, there's like these weird pieces of land that come up where I just think it would be cool to own.
Yeah,
but not the wall.
Okay, we're passing on the wall.
I'm down. I'm out.
It's an interesting
on the wall.
and new one. Never seen that before.
All right, Shawn, let's go to a property in San Rafael, California. This is a conversion. It is an office to apartment conversion, and we've talked a little bit about this, and I've shown you this property before.
Yeah.
And this is a chance to be on the forefront of the office to apartment conversion, and this would be a great example of what not to do, Shawn. This is exactly what not to do. Of course, I'm having some technical difficulties, but you've seen the property before. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1,000 square foot property for $520,000 in downtown San Rafael. They still have the industrial carpet installed. It looks like they just slapped a kitchen in the middle of the floor plan. There's window coverings on the outside of the window. There's glass everywhere. The master bedroom is basically like an office room. Shawn, are you in or out on the office conversion?
Yeah, Matt. I mean, they say that these office conversions can take a lot of money, and there's a lot of talk about the office conversions because, let's face it, the commercial side of things is not doing the greatest. So how can these people make money? Let's do an office conversion. Well, this is a prime example of what not to do and why people won't purchase them, because it looks like an office, and I don't want to live in an office. And, for $520,000, okay, I can have a great space, but I'm going to spend $200,000 to make it look good for a 1-bedroom. I hate it. I hate it, Matt. Not a fan. It does have a nice little terrace outside, which would be the only thing that I would say was nice about it, but I'm 100% out on this. How about you?
I'm out too. It's terrible. It's horrific. Someone is trying to pull a fast one on someone. A sucker's born every single day. And hopefully no suckers buy this one, because it is horrific in every sense of the way. And oh, by the way, you have a $655 monthly HOA fee. So you basically have the $528,000 condo, and then you have to pay essentially an office fee, if you want to call it that, for $655 a month. I'm out.
Your kitchen sitting in the corner. Your bedroom is nowhere.
It's not like you don't want to come home to that at the end of the night.
No, it doesn't feel comfy, cozy.
All right, let's move on to the last house. This comes to us from Hubbardston in Massachusetts. $699,000, 4-bed, 4-bath, 3,200 square foot house. Shawn, just looks like your regular everyday house with a pool. Even got a pool there in the back. Nothing too wild and crazy. Some cell phone photos until we get to the bedroom. And what do we have in the bedroom? We have an open ensuite bedroom. What does that mean? Well, it means your bedroom and your bathroom do not have any walls. So you have your toilet about 5 feet from the head of your bed with your glass shower, which, by the way, looks like a nice glass shower. Little rainfall action coming from the ceiling. But you get a view of the shower from the bedroom. We go to the second bedroom. What do we find? We find another bathtub situation out in the open next to the bed. Shawn, for $699, are you in or out on the open ensuite floor plan?
The exhibitionist home. This is the weirdest thing I think I've seen in a long time. I mean, the office space was bad. This is pretty bad too. The thing is, when you're going through the house, it looks like, oh, this is a 1985, 1990 looking home. All of the furniture is from that era. And then all of a sudden you get to the bathroom and it's completely blown out in like marble tile and completely redone. But then literally you have a toilet sitting out in the open next to the bed here and the shower here. Honey, can you pass me the toilet paper, please?
You can't live here with two people.
No, it's awful.
You can't be more than one person living here.
I mean, who in their right mind does this? You talk about bad renovations and people doing things to their specs and then trying to sell the house later. This is why you don't do it to what you like. If you're crazy minded like this and you feel like, oh, I want this crazy thing done, no one else does. And so now they're going to have to spend $100,000 just on the bathroom to get it to a normal sense.
Well, I mean, clearly they took down some walls. So, I mean, it's not going to take $100,000 to put up some drywall, is it?
No, you're right. Okay, we could fix it, but
well, in the listing description, they don't even mention this. They don't even mention this, and you know, it's got 40,000 views. It's gone viral.
Yeah,
it's everywhere. Everywhere you look,
you know,
40,000 views. Why don't they just put in the listing description like, "Hey, look, you got us. You're gonna see a weird bathroom.
Yeah,
but we're just gonna just level with them. You know, this house is gonna be $50,000 under price. Throw up some drywall. We got you. Now, what would you do if you were the listing agent? How would you get this sold? Would you tell the seller you need to put this drywall up? Would you price it $100,000 below the comps? How would you get this sold?
Personally, I would put up the walls. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me.
Well, you might have to mess up the floors, and then you got.
Doesn't matter. You have to do this in order to sell it because you will take $100,000 hit, or else you can put $15,000 into it and change the aesthetics and the look and the feel of that bathroom bedroom. You need to. Otherwise, it's just going to be one of these tough sales. And yeah, you could go viral, but everybody's going to laugh at it. So I don't think. Don't tell me it's under contract.
No, it's active. They had a $50,000 price.
$50K. There's $50K.
But the thing is, I don't know what the market value is in Hubbardston, Massachusetts, but I can tell you, October 2022 listed for $850,000. They are now $150,000 below. Now, I don't know if $850,000 was an absurd price.
I'll tell you what, if $850 is market price and it's $699.9, this is a good buy actually, because you could put a few $1,000s into the bathroom, and it's not $100. You could put $15,000, $20,000 into this property and have a total out of $720. You could probably get a deal on it because they just cut the price. So get it a little less, buy it, put up the walls, do a little bit of paint and get the old furniture out of there, stage it, and sell it for $850. You just made $100,000.
Shawn,
easy.
I can't believe I'm asking you this. Are you in on
I
this
might be
house
in on this
for $699?
You know what? I have to do the comp work on this.
We got him.
I think that I can flip this around. I think that I can buy this. Let me do some work on this. If the numbers look good, I'm buying this. I'm putting up the wall. I'll spruce it up. You can do paint for really cheap. You can get rid of that old shag carpet. It's a $2 per square foot, $2.50 a square foot on that. Paint's nothing. Putting up the wall is very simple. Maybe the only problem is you might have to relocate that toilet. If that's the deal, then no, I think we can put a wall there. I think we can do it. We just pull the bed away from there. Numbers are working. I'm a buyer. I'm a player.
But aren't some of the best deals the ones that the general public makes fun of? Like,
yes.
What idiot would buy this house that has an open bedroom with a bathroom? It's like, you heard about walls, you heard about drywall, you heard about putting up a door. These things exist, and
it's
they're
very
not
easy to do.
As expensive compared to listing it for $850,000.
Yeah, you just did your client a disservice. You should have put those walls up first and been honest with the people. Listen, people aren't going to buy this home because of this. You need to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that this sells. If you want $850, let's do this for $20,000. If you want $700, let's not do anything. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
There were clearly walls up at one point.
Yeah, put them back up and it'll sell. And so in that case, I'm a player.
Shawn's in. Shawn, it's got a pool. 3,200 square feet. Like, it's not small by any means. Four bathrooms.
I'm gonna go out on a limb on this. I'm gonna buy it, and I'm going to do the things I'm in. I'm gonna be the investor in it.
All right, well, let us know if you are in or out. Drop your comments in the comment section below. And for Shawn and myself, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.